message was never supposed to reach him. Emma Carter stared at her cracked phone screen, thumb hovering as the text sent confirmation popped up. Her heart skipped, then dropped hard into her stomach. Message sent. She frowned, rereading what she had typed. "Hey, I hate to ask again, but do you have any extra baby formula? The store is out and Lily hasn't eaten since morning." Emma's breath caught. That wasn't the number she meant to text. Her sister's contact name, Megan, sat just above another one in her phone, an old contact she had never bothered to delete after a wrong number call weeks ago. E. Blackwood. She swallowed. "Oh no. No, she whispered. Her fingers moved fast, panic kicking in as she tried to send a follow-up. "Sorry, wrong number. Please ignore." But it was already too late. Emma leaned back against the kitchen counter, exhaustion washing over her. The small apartment felt colder than usual, quieter except for the soft whimper coming from the living room. "Shh, Lily," Emma murmured, walking over to the worn couch where her 6-month-old daughter lay bundled in a faded blanket. Lily's tiny fists clenched and unclenched, her face scrunching as another hungry cry escaped. Emma picked her up, rocking gently. "I know, baby. Mama's trying." Being a single mother hadn't been part of Emma's plan. Neither had losing her job during pregnancy. Neither had her parents cutting contact after she refused to give Lily up for adoption. But here she was, tired, broke, and out of baby formula. Her phone buzzed. Emma froze. She looked down slowly, dread pooling in her chest. "Unknown number. You don't need to apologize." "How old is Lily?" Emma stared at the screen, convinced she was hallucinating. He replied. She quickly typed, then erased. Typed again. "I'm so sorry. That message wasn't meant for you. I shouldn't have bothered." Another buzz. "Unknown number, you didn't bother me." 6 months, you said? Is she allergic to anything?" Emma's throat tightened. Who was this man? She sat down carefully, Lily cradled against her shoulder. "She's 6 months. No allergies that we know of. I usually use Similac, but everything nearby is sold out." There was a pause, long enough for Emma to regret responding at all. Then, "Unknown number, what's your address?" Her heart pounded. She typed back immediately. No, I can't give you that. I really didn't mean to involve you. I'm sorry." The typing bubbles appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Unknown number, I understand the hesitation. I'm not asking as a stranger with expectations. I'm asking as someone who can help. Nothing more." Emma closed her eyes. Her instincts screamed caution, but Lily whimpered again, her tiny face warm against Emma's neck. Emma typed slowly. "I live in Brookside Apartments, Building C." She didn't send the apartment number. If this was a mistake, she could still protect herself. The reply came almost instantly. "Unknown number, thank you. Please wait." And Emma, she frowned. "How? Does he know my name?" The next message answered that question. "Unknown number. Your phone number is attached to a donation receipt from St. Mary's Clinic. I'm a board member." Her breath left her in a shaky exhale. This wasn't just some random man. This was someone important. She Googled the name before she could stop herself. Ethan Blackwood, CEO, Blackwood Industries. Net worth $18.4 billion. Emma's hands shook. "A billionaire," she whispered. Her phone buzzed again. "Ethan, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Ethan Blackwood didn't usually drive himself, but tonight he did. The city blurred past as his mind replayed the message over and over again. He'd received hundreds of texts today, investors, lawyers, executives, but none of them had stopped him the way hers had. The store is out, and Lily hasn't eaten since morning. He thought of his own childhood, his mother counting pennies, the nights when dinner was whatever they could scrape together. Power meant nothing if it couldn't be used when it mattered. He pulled into the Brookside Apartments parking lot, the cracked pavement illuminated by flickering streetlights. The place was worn, neglected, but lived in. He stepped out of the car with a box tucked under his arm. Formula, diapers, a few baby bottles. He knocked on the door marked C17. Emma opened it slowly, Lily in her arms. For a moment, neither of them spoke. She looked tired, not unkempt, just worn thin by responsibility. Her eyes widened slightly when she saw the box. "You didn't have to do all this," she said quietly. Ethan met her gaze. "I wanted to." She stepped aside, letting him in. The apartment was small but clean. Toys neatly stacked. A folding crib near the window. Ethan set the box down gently. Lily stared at him with wide, curious eyes. "Well," he said softly, crouching slightly, "you must be Lily." The baby let out a small sound, half laugh, half hiccup. Emma blinked, emotion rising unexpectedly. "She likes you," she said, voice cracking. Ethan straightened. "She has good instincts." Their eyes met. Neither of them realized it yet. But that accidental text hadn't just reached a billionaire. It had reached someone whose life was about to change. Emma didn't sleep much that night. After Ethan left, the apartment felt strangely different, quieter yet heavier. The unopened box of baby formula sat on the small kitchen table like a symbol of both relief and fear. Relief because Lily finally drank her fill and fell asleep with milk on her lips. Fear because nothing in Emma's life ever came without strings, and men, especially powerful ones, never helped without reason. Emma sat on the couch, phone in her hand, staring at Ethan's contact name. She hadn't saved it yet. Somehow, doing so felt like admitting something she wasn't ready for. Her phone buzzed. She flinched. "Ethan, did Lily eat okay?" Emma hesitated, then typed back. "Emma, yes." She finished the bottle and passed out immediately. "Thank you." 3 dots appeared. "Ethan, I'm glad." That was it. No follow-up, no pressure. That unsettled her more than if he had asked for something. The next morning, Emma woke before sunrise, Lily already stirring. She moved through her routine with the quiet efficiency of someone who had learned to function on little sleep. As she warmed a bottle, one she hadn't had to ration, her chest tightened unexpectedly. She hated needing help, but she loved her daughter more than her pride. Later that afternoon, while Lily napped, Emma sat at her small kitchen table and Googled Ethan Blackwood again. She skimmed articles about mergers, philanthropy, headlines calling him untouchable, brilliant, cold. None of them matched the man who had knelt on her apartment floor and smiled at her baby. Her phone buzzed again. "Ethan, I hope this isn't crossing a line, but I wanted to check in. Are you working today?" Emma frowned. "Emma, no. I freelance from home when Lily sleeps. Ethan, would you mind company? Just coffee. I won't bring anything this time." She stared at the message for a long moment. She could say no. She should say no. But isolation had been her reality for too long. "Emma, okay. Coffee is fine." Ethan arrived an hour later, this time empty-handed. That mattered to Emma. She opened the door cautiously. "Hi." "Hi," he replied, offering a small smile. "Thank you for letting me come." She stepped aside. "It's still messy." "It's lived in," he said, glancing around. "There's a difference." They sat at the small kitchen table, mug between them. Lily watched from her bouncer nearby, eyes fixed on Ethan as if she recognized him. "She remembers you," Emma said softly. Ethan smiled. "I hope that's a good thing." They talked slowly at first, safe topics, Lily's sleep schedule, freelance work. Ethan mentioned travel, never destinations, just movement. At one point, Emma asked, "Why did you respond?" The question hung between them. Ethan didn't dodge it. "Because I've received a lot of messages in my life. Most of them want something. Yours didn't." She frowned. It was literally asking for something. He shook his head. It wasn't entitlement. It was desperation. "There's a difference." She swallowed. "I know what it's like," he added quietly. to be hungry, to worry about the next meal. Emma looked at him, surprised. You? Yes, he said simply. Before everything, she believed him. Over the next week, Ethan checked in, never daily, never intrusive, sometimes a short message, sometimes silence. He didn't offer more help, he didn't mention money. That restraint earned her trust more than generosity ever could. One evening, Lily spiked a fever. Emma panicked. The clinic hotline put her on hold. Lily cried, flushed and restless. Emma paced the apartment, fear clawing at her chest. Without thinking, she texted Ethan. Emma, I'm sorry to bother you. Lily has a fever and the clinic isn't answering. I don't know what to do. The reply came instantly. Ethan, what's her temperature? Emma answered, Ethan, I'm Colin. G, a pediatrician friend. Stay with me. He stayed on text the entire time, calm, steady, until the fever eased and Lily finally slept. Emma sat on the floor afterward, tears sliding down her face. Emma, thank you. I don't know why I keep reaching out to you, Ethan, because you're human, and you're not alone. That broke something open inside her. 2 days later, Ethan asked if he could take her to lunch. Public place, she said quickly. Of course, he replied. They met at a modest diner. No paparazzi, no suits. Ethan looked almost normal. Halfway through the meal, a man approached their table. Mr. Blackwood, he said, eyes flicking to Emma with curiosity. Didn't expect to see you here. Ethan's posture shifted slightly. Polite, guarded. I'm off today. The man laughed awkwardly and walked away. Emma stared at Ethan. That happens a lot? More than I'd like, she hesitated. Is that why you don't tell people who you are? Yes, he said. And because I like when someone looks at me and doesn't calculate. She met his gaze. I'm still not, he smiled. I know. That night Emma lay in bed, Lily asleep beside her in the crib. She realized something scared her more than poverty. Hope that maybe someone saw her, not as a burden, not as a charity case, but as a person worth knowing. And hope had consequences. Her phone buzzed one last time. Ethan, thank you for trusting me. I won't take it lightly. Emma typed back slowly. Emma, just don't disappear. A pause. Then, Ethan, I won't. And for the first time in months, Emma fell asleep without fear, unaware that this connection, born from an accidental text, was about to test both their limits. Emma should have known peace never lasted. The following week felt almost normal, dangerously so. Lily's fever didn't return. Work emails came in steadily. The formula supply no longer hovered at the back of Emma's mind like a ticking clock. And Ethan remained present in a way that didn't suffocate. Sometimes he texted to ask how Lily slept. Sometimes he didn't text at all. That balance made Emma trust him more than she wanted to admit, which was why the first crack in that fragile calm hit her harder than she expected. It happened on a Thursday afternoon. Emma had taken Lily to the nearby park, her version of a luxury outing. Lily sat bundled in a stroller while Emma scrolled through emails on her phone, replying to a client about revisions. She didn't notice the black SUV until it stopped near the curb. 2 men stepped out. Her stomach tightened immediately. They didn't look like locals. Too sharp, too alert. Their eyes scanned the park, then locked onto her. Miss Carter? One of them asked. Emma stood slowly, gripping the stroller handle. Yes? We're with Blackwood Holdings. Mr. Blackwood asked us to deliver something. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Deliver something? The man handed her a small envelope. No logos. Just her name, that's all, he said. Have a good day. They left as quickly as they arrived. Parents nearby stared. Whispers followed. Emma's hand shook as she opened the envelope. Inside was a simple note. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to feel like pressure. Please read when you're alone. E. She folded the note back and pushed the stroller home, her mind racing. She waited until Lily was asleep before opening it fully. The letter wasn't long. Ethan explained that his board had discovered unusual expenses flagged under his personal account. Baby supplies, pediatric consultations, questions were asked. He had dismissed the concern but realized too late that someone might reach out to her. He apologized, not for helping, but for exposing her. "If this complicates your life in any way, tell me, and I'll step back immediately." Emma read the letter 3 times. Then she sat on the couch, staring at the wall, anger and fear twisting together. This was what she had been trying to avoid, being pulled into a world where she didn't belong. Her phone buzzed. "Ethan, I just heard they went to your neighborhood. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" She didn't answer immediately. When she finally typed, her message was short. "Emma, we need to talk." They met that evening at the same diner. Emma arrived tense, shoulders tight, Lily asleep in her carrier. Ethan stood the moment he saw her, concern etched into his face. "I never wanted." She raised a hand. "I know, but intention doesn't change impact." He nodded, sitting back down. "You're right. They showed up at the park," she continued quietly. People stared. "I don't live in a world where men in suits come looking for me. I'll make sure it never happens again." "That's not the point," she said, voice steady but strained. "Your life spills over. Mine can't afford that." Silence stretched between them. Ethan studied her carefully. "Are you asking me to leave?" The question hit harder than she expected. She looked down at Lily, then back at him. "I'm asking you to understand that I can't be a project." His jaw tightened. "You never were. Then why does it feel like everyone around you knows my business now?" He leaned forward. "Because I failed to protect your privacy. That's on me." Something in his tone, genuine accountability, softened her anger. Still, fear remained. "People like you don't just help once," she said. "They change trajectories, and I don't know what that does to someone like me." Ethan's voice lowered. "It gives them options, not obligations." Emma met his eyes. "Options come with expectations. Only if you accept them," he replied. She looked away. That night, Emma barely slept. She replayed the park scene over and over. The stares, the whispers, the reminder that proximity to power came with a spotlight she never asked for. But another memory crept in too. Ethan on her apartment floor, patiently waiting while Lily drank her bottle. Ethan staying up late, texting calmly while she panicked. Ethan never once asking for gratitude. By morning, she realized the truths awed her more than his wealth. She trusted him. 2 days later, she invited him to her apartment. "I need you to see my world," she said when he arrived. "Not the version you can fix, the one that just exists." "I'm listening," he replied. She showed him the tiny kitchen, the second-hand crib, the laptop balanced on stacked books because the desk wobbled. "This is it," she said. "No assistance, no backup." He nodded. "It's honest." She took a breath. "If you're in my life, it has to be like this. No suits showing up, no silent solutions." Ethan met her gaze. "Then I'll be here as Ethan, not the CEO." She searched his face for hesitation. There was none. The shift wasn't immediate, but it was real. He stopped sending things. No more quiet deliveries, no more unseen safety nets. Instead, he showed up differently, holding Lily while Emma cooked, listening while she vented about clients who paid late, admitting things he'd never said aloud, that success had isolated him, that people rarely stayed once they learned who he was. One evening, as Lily slept between them on the couch, Emma spoke the thought she'd been avoiding. "This won't stay small forever." Ethan nodded. "I know. And when it doesn't, people will judge me. I know. Say I used you. I know." She turned to him. "Why are you still here?" He answered without hesitation. "Because you didn't ask for my world. You invited me into yours." Emma felt tears sting her eyes. For the first time she understood. This wasn't Rescue. It was collision, and neither of them would walk away unchanged. If you want, say, the first article appeared on a Monday morning. Emma didn't see it at first. She was feeding Lily mashed bananas, laughing when half of it landed on the baby's nose. Her phone buzzed on the table, ignored until the third vibration. It was her friend Maya. "Maya, Emma, are you okay?" Confused, Emma wiped her hands and opened the link Maya sent. The headline made her stomach drop. Blackwood CEO linked to mystery woman and infant. Sources question his judgment. Her hands trembled as she scrolled. Blurry photos, a shadowy figure pushing a stroller. Speculation layered with accusation. No names, but enough detail to strip her anonymity bare. The room felt too small. She looked at Lily, blissfully unaware, and felt a surge of fear so sharp it almost hurt. Her phone rang immediately. "Ethan," she answered without speaking. "I just saw it," he said, voice tight. "I'm so sorry. I didn't agree to this," she whispered. "I know, I didn't either. But this is your world," she said, "and it's swallowing mine." Silence hung between them, heavy and dangerous. "I can make it stop," Ethan said finally. "One statement, one denial." Emma closed her eyes. "At what cost?" "They'll believe you're nothing to me." The words landed harder than he intended. She swallowed. "And if you don't, they'll dig. They always do." Emma sank onto the couch. "So this is the choice," she murmured. "Disappear or be exposed." "I'll do whatever you want," Ethan said quickly. "Just tell me." She didn't answer right away. By afternoon, the article had spread. Neighbors glanced at her differently. A woman she barely knew asked intrusive questions at the elevator. Emma stopped answering messages altogether. That evening, Ethan came over unannounced. He looked different, drawn, shoulders tight, the weight of an empire pressing down on him. "I shouldn't have come," he said quietly. "But I couldn't stay away." Emma studied him. "Do you know what they're saying about me?" "Yes. They think I planned this. I know. They think Lily isn't mine." His jaw clenched. "That's a line they'll regret crossing." Emma shook her head. "You can't protect us from rumors. I can protect you from consequences." "That's not the same thing." She stood, pacing the room. "I've lived quietly my whole life. I worked to stay invisible. And now," her voice cracked, "now strangers think they own my story." Ethan stepped closer. "Then let me stand beside you while they try." She laughed bitterly. "Beside me or in front of me?" He didn't respond immediately. That hesitation told her everything. That night, Emma made a decision. She sent Ethan a message just after midnight. "Emma, I need space for Lily, for me." The reply came instantly. "Ethan, how much?" "Emma, I don't know, but I can't be brave while you're fighting your own war." The typing dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Ethan, I understand," the simplicity of it made her cry. Days passed. The media cycle moved on as it always did, chasing the next scandal. But the damage lingered. Emma stayed inside more, took fewer calls. Lily sensed the tension, fussier than usual. One afternoon, as Emma rocked Lily to sleep, a knock sounded at the door. She froze. Another knock. Her heart pounded as she checked the peephole. "Ethan." She hesitated, then opened the door. "I know you asked for space," he said softly, "but something's happening, and you deserve to hear it from me." She stepped aside. He didn't sit, didn't relax. "My board is forcing a vote," he said. "They think my personal life is a liability." Emma's breath caught. "You're stepping down?" "They're trying to make me, for me," she whispered. "For perception," he corrected. "But you're the excuse." Guilt surged through her. "Then fix it. Deny everything." Ethan shook his head. "I won't erase you to save myself." Her eyes filled. You shouldn't burn your life down for me. I'm not, he said firmly. I'm choosing which parts of it matter. She stared at him, shaken. What do you want from me, she asked. He hesitated. Honesty. She exhaled slowly. I'm scared. I know. I don't know how to live under a microscope. You won't have to, he said. Not alone. The board vote happened the following week. Ethan lost. The news broke quietly. Blackwood's CEO steps aside amid strategic reorganization. No mention of Emma. No mention of Lily. But the cost was enormous. That evening, Ethan stood in Emma's kitchen, no longer the man with ultimate control. I don't know what happens next, he admitted. For the first time in years, Emma looked at him, really looked at him. Stripped of power, he was still kind, still steady. She made her choice then. You don't have to disappear, she said. Not from us. His eyes widened slightly. Are you sure? No, she said honestly. But I don't want safety if it means pretending you never mattered. He reached for her hand, tentative. She didn't pull away. Later that night, Emma sat beside Lily's crib, watching her breathe. She realized something profound. Love wasn't rescue. It wasn't protection from consequences. It was standing in the fallout together, and whatever came next, whatever rebuilding looked like, she knew one thing for certain. Her life had already flipped. Life slowed after the headlines faded. There were no cameras outside Emma's building, no black SUVs waiting at corners. The world, indifferent as ever, moved on. But inside her small apartment, everything felt newly fragile and strangely real. Ethan didn't disappear. He didn't try to reclaim power or spin a comeback narrative. He didn't complain about what he'd lost. Instead, he showed up quietly, consistently, as if proving something. To Emma, to himself, or maybe to the man he was becoming. He cooked badly at first. Burned eggs, oversalted soup. Emma laughed more than she had in months, and Lily clapped every time he made a mess. Slowly he learned, so did Emma. She learned what it looked like when someone stayed even after the leverage was gone. One afternoon, as rain tapped softly against the window, Ethan sat on the floor with Lily, stacking blocks and pretending not to notice when she knocked them over. Emma watched from the couch, a warm ache filling her chest. You know, she said softly, you don't have to prove anything. Ethan looked up. I know, but you're still trying. He smiled faintly. Maybe I'm proving it to myself. She nodded, understanding more than she let on. Money didn't vanish from Ethan's life entirely, but it stopped being infinite. For the first time, he checked prices, compared brands, questioned necessity. The adjustment humbled him, but it also freed him. One evening, he admitted something he'd never said aloud. I used to think security came from control, he said, sitting beside Emma on the couch, but I was constantly afraid of losing it. And now? She asked. I don't control much, he said, but I'm not afraid. Emma leaned back, absorbing that. She thought about her own life, the years spent surviving, calculating, bracing for collapse. And yet here she was, calmer than she'd ever been. Not because things were easy, but because they were honest. The first time Ethan applied for a job again, Emma didn't know how to feel. It wasn't glamorous. Consulting work, short-term contracts. He dressed plainly, carried his own bag, took notes instead of giving orders. When he came home that day, he looked exhausted, but lighter. I forgot what it's like to earn trust, he said. Emma smiled. Welcome to the rest of us. He laughed. That night, after Lily fell asleep, they sat at the small kitchen table with mugs of tea. I've been thinking, Ethan said carefully, about the future. Emma's shoulders tensed instinctively. Not plans, he clarified quickly. Just direction. She relaxed slightly. Okay, I don't want to rebuild the same life, he said. I don't want power if it costs presence. Emma studied him. And what do you want? He met her gaze. I want to be someone Lily remembers. The words hit her hard. Not as a promise, not as pressure, as intention. Weeks turned into months. Emma's freelance work grew steadily. Clients respected her boundaries more now, not because of headlines, but because she stopped apologizing for having them. Ethan took Lily to the park alone sometimes, learning which swings she liked, which songs calmed her when she cried. He never posted photos, never told stories for admiration. He was just there. One afternoon, Emma returned home to find him asleep on the couch, Lily curled against his chest, her tiny hand gripping his shirt. The sight stole her breath. She stood there for a long time, afraid to disturb them. In that moment, she understood something she'd been circling for months. This wasn't borrowed stability. This was shared life. The past didn't vanish. Occasionally, someone recognized Ethan. Occasionally, Emma felt the old fear tighten in her chest when she thought about exposure, about judgment. But those moments passed, because when she looked around, what she saw wasn't scandal or sacrifice. It was choice. One night, after Lily finally drifted off, Emma spoke the thought she'd been carrying quietly. "You know, if you'd never answered that text, my life would still be standing, just narrower." Ethan nodded. "And mine would still be taller, but emptier." She smiled faintly. Funny how accidents work. He reached for her hand, not urgently, not possessively. She laced her fingers through his. Months later, Emma found the old phone, the one she'd used the night everything began, the cracked screen, the message history. She reread the text she'd sent by mistake. "Sorry, wrong number, but do you know where I can get baby formula late at night? So small, so desperate." She realized something then. The message hadn't changed her life because it reached a billionaire. It changed her life because someone listened, because someone answered without asking what it would cost him. Emma closed the phone and placed it back in the drawer. She didn't need it anymore. The future wasn't guaranteed. It never had been. But now, when she looked ahead, she didn't see survival. She saw possibility. And that was more than she'd ever dared to ask for, accident or not. More stories will keep coming, so please don't forget to like and subscribe.